Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for the Super Rugby season, Blues versus Drua. Now, anytime these two sides plays, it's normally fast-paced, it's normally high-scoring. This game in Whangarei is going to be absolutely no different. Currently, the way that the table sits, the Hurricanes top of the log after a victory over the Western Force last night. The Brumbies also getting themselves a win in emphatic fashion over the Rebels, and the Chiefs pulling off that win over the Crusaders. Those are the three results that we've had so far in the Super Rugby 2024 season. Everyone else yet to get themselves points. But this game is certainly going to change that. The Blues, they have had a dominant preseason. The Drua, not so much. They are yet to get themselves a victory throughout the Super Rugby preseason games. But this is now the start of the season. This is when it changes, and this is when we get to see quite a few debuts for the Fijian Drua. But the Blues lineup, they are going to be as follows. In the front row, it is Joshua Fisitua, also Kurt Eklund at 2, and Angus Ta'avao slotting in as the number 3, Sam Derry, and also Josh Berry there at number 5, Anton Segner, Dalton Papali'i, and Hoskins Tutu put together a very formidable loose forward trio that will look to be physical, look to be dominant, and up against the Fijian Drua side, you cannot allow the Drua's loose forwards to flow, or else there will be some massive hits and some big turnovers happening throughout this game. Finley Christie and Stephen Petafeta will be the young combo to make up the 9 and 10. Harry Plummer and Rico Ioane in the midfield. Caleb Clark playing his 50th match. He is out on the left wing. Mark Talia, the try-scoring sensation, out on the right. And Zahn Sullivan to slot in at 15 to close out the Blues starting lineup. Then for the Fijians in the front row, it is going to be Levi Natave, Tavita Ikanaveri, and Masaki Donge will close out that formidable not loose forward trio, but the formidable front row for the Fijian Drua. So Silasila is going to be there at 4, and Rotui Solia at 5. Then Wanga gets the opportunity at 6. Tanakai Vata, we've actually seen quite a bit of him coming off the bench, definitely for the Fijian international team. Then Deria Langi, the captain, the big man, and number 8, looking to have a strong performance. Here, Frank Lamani at number 9, Armstrong. Ravula, I believe it is going to be there at number 10. Vota in the midfield alongside Osefo Masi, who was setting records for the Fijian Drua last year. He'll be hoping to do just that this year as well. Celestino Ravatamanda out on the left wing. Momo on debut out on the right. And also on debut, Rabitu at number 15. So 2 unknowns, actually 3 if you include that number 10. So this backline, it's either going to work or it's not. And I feel like that is the situation we find ourselves in. The Drua are either going to fire from the get-go, or it's going to take a bit of time for them to find their form for throughout the season. We have got Hi All and Hamish. There's Robert. Welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing extremely well. And look at my Canes. Says Pads ablaze and just watching All Blacks 7s against Ireland. Says Nomum. Of course, there are 7s that are taking place all throughout this Super Rugby Pacific match. And during those matches, we are going to keep you informed about what the scores are. You surprised to see me at this time of day? Says Cool Story Bro. Some of you guys are on some weird time schedules, I guess you could say, over this weekend, but with the amount of rugby and also with the amount of sport that is on over this weekend, I'll be honest, I'm not too surprised, mainly because I know that we're going to be doing the same later tonight with the Six Nations. All it to you, Kiwi lads. Here we go again. Go the Blues, says Spider Mick. And also, it's me it's me from Fiji versus Spain. The Log King, aka Rish, aka Rashab, says the Log King there. And very happy was a nail-biting game for sure, says Novmum. And my time is very different to yours, says Pads Ablaze. Yeah, you probably know how to sleep. That is something that I am still yet to really learn. I should mention there is a Super Rugby Aupiki game currently taking place for pre-season between the Hurricanes and Matatu. I believe they are getting close to the end of that fixture. The other one took place at this ground. That is the reason I bring it up. The Chiefs managing to pull off the win over the Blues, 50 points. So 24, but I mentioned the starting lineups. Now we better look through at the benches and what is going to come in the later stages of this game. Ricky Riccatelli with Jordan Lay and Marcel Renata as the front row replacements for the Blues. Lachlan McWannell and Adrian Choate as the 2 other forward replacements. Then Sam Knock, AJ Lamb, and Forbes going to be number 23. A little bit of an unknown, but hopefully has a decent performance. Dolakoto at 16 with Takiri and also Kuroi Duadua. Then alongside him, Vofi, as well as Mira Matualu, Kimi Valentini. He's a very handy player to have late, definitely because he can nail those last-minute kicks, which could be absolutely crucial for the Drua. They are looking to be a little bit more strategic in the way that they play out of their 22 this year as well. And because of that, it means that a big kick downfield from Valentini may be exactly what they need. Later in the game, Samu Vodre, the last man for the Drua, and their 23. 9 hours until my birthday, I'm going to be 35. Says it was Rish there. Also in the chat. Oh, one moment, we all go like this. There we go. Preseason, the Blues, they were undefeated, getting their wins over Suntory, the Cannon Eagles, as well as the Chiefs. And the Super Rugby preseason game that did take place last week, 38 points to 24, maybe a similar scoreline to what we could see today for this dangerous Blues side. The Drua, they were close in both of their games. The fact that they scored 40 points and still lost to the Brumbies, I think that they will definitely feel like they're a little bit hard done by. They can score tries. They actually average 5 in terms of the amount that the opposition score against them. That was the statistic from last year, so hopefully they can cut that down a little bit. Their defence gets a bit tighter, although up against this Blues side, who as you can see every game managing to bring up over 35 points, their average against the Fijian Drua defensive average equals a very high scoring and very entertaining game. And I'm hoping that is exactly what we get next round. The Islanders will be taking on the Blues. That is a rematch of the Super Rugby New Zealand competition that we did have. It was Trans-Tasman, as it was called. The Force will be taking on the Rebels, two sides that did suffer defeats last night to two other Australian sides, or also the Hurricanes for the Western Force. Moana Pacifica versus the Fijian Drua, the Pacific Island Derby taking place as well. Crusaders versus the Tars, Chiefs versus Brumbies, and Hurricanes versus Reds, the other game that is taking place next week. We have got there up late. Last night I was upset. Says Robert, yeah, of course, the cricket not quite going the way that New Zealand would have liked. They really did struggle. Hopefully they do better tomorrow. They are actually going to be playing at 1 p.m. So we'll be interested to see how they go. And hi, Hamish, good day for rugby. Says Brandon Game in there as well. And draw. Says the Log King. And Aussie Kiwis fell off with the bat. Did good in the second half of the bowling, says Pads Ablaze. Yeah, they were keeping it relatively tight, the Kiwis, which was good to see. They were close to winning that first one as well. So the series isn't completely lost in terms of experience gaining. But of course, they have lost the series 2-0 on paper. But currently the two sides at Whangarei about to be welcomed out onto the field. 27 degrees Celsius. Now, I actually remember in the Rugby Sevens, we heard a little bit from Filippo Bucchiaro, the Fijian skipper for this leg of the Sevens. And he said that Vancouver sucked in terms of the temperature. He said that they aren't used to it in Fiji. 27 degrees Celsius here, though, that is more than what the Fijians will love to play in. And I think that that might actually help them massively. New Zealand, yes, we've been in some warm weather, but playing in 27 degrees Celsius, that's like a day at the office for the Fijian Drua as they make their way out of the tunnel. Drua will win, says Epi in there. But do let me know your score predictions, ladies and gentlemen, of who you think will be winning this game, and also your score prediction of who is going to be the most dangerous. For me, I am thinking, like, there's a part of me that think that the Drua have got a chance, mainly because we have so many unknowns in this Fijian Drua side, but my mind is also telling me after a dominant preseason for the Blues, there is a chance that we see them win this game by 20 or somewhere around there, maybe 25. Was my original prediction. I really hope that's not the score, though. I hope that Fiji can take it deep in this contest. The Drua are in their huddle. The Blues now make their way out of the tunnel as well. This is going to be a big match for both of these sides in terms of the way that their competition is shaped. Looking at what they have got in the near future, like I mentioned, for the Fijians, they have got their game up against Moana Pacifica. 14 days' time, they will be taking on the Crusaders, and then the Chiefs game after that. So two massive games back to back, then taking on the Tars and the Force. 2 games at home. They want to make sure they're winning them just like they were last year. That is somewhere that the Fijian Drua made up a lot of ground on the table when they had home victories over some of the top sides. And the competition for the Blues, they've got the Highlanders, then the Hurricanes, the Tars. That match could be a final later on down the line in the season. And then Moana Pacifica in only the 35 days' time, which of course will fly by in the scheme of things. And we have got there, come on, Emmy, Drua is in trouble, says Mr. All-In. How's the weather? It is 27 degrees Celsius, no sign of rain, so it's going to be a really good afternoon for a game of rugby. I had a high prediction for the Blues. Says Pats and Blaze and Drua will win. Says, is it Georgie? Hopefully I've said that. Or Georgia, I believe, maybe. And also thanks for the gift chat. Says Mr. All-In and let's go the Blues. Says Dolores in there as well. But do let me know, ladies and gents. We normally do it. First try scorer of this game. I'm going to go bold here and say, even though I have a feeling the Blues will score a lot throughout this game, I think that the Fijian Drua will be the first side to score. And I'm going to say it's a Pele Momo on debut, an unknown factor. We look at someone like a Vinaya Habosi, and we look at some of those other guys who have followed him. Celestino Ravatamanda, he's had some very good moments for the Drua. A lot of the best Fijian Drua backs end up going overseas. So, this is their chance, in a way, to be the next Fijian Drua opening season Vinaya Habosi. Get a big contract in France. It's on the cards. We know how much the French sides love a Fijian in their backline. Gita Wainignolo, he has been playing in France. Waisea Naifalevu, he's been playing in France. The list goes on. Tuisova, he was having a spell in France. His brother as well. There's a lot of positions in those backlines to fill in the Fijian Drua. They've got the players who can keep on supplying those great superstars. And number 15 for the Blues to score first, so that will be Zahn Sullivan. And also we have got there, when are you going to do sevens, says Dio Dutt. So we did do the sevens earlier on today, which I don't think we saw you on, Dio, but that is all right. But we are going to keep you updated with what the scores are in the sevens for today, just while this game has taken place. And then we will also be doing the sevens tomorrow morning, which is when they are next taking place. But the Drua will be kicking off from left to right, and we are underway for their Super Rugby Pacific seasons, ladies and gents. And Hoskins, the 2-2, takes it nicely there for the Blues just outside of the 22. Finley Christie across to Zahn Sullivan. Missed pass opportunity there for the Blues, but it does sit up for Dalton Papali'i. And winners sevens. Says Dio, depends on which side you're talking about. Currently, the sevens are taking place. New Zealand are playing Ireland at the moment in the men's sevens circuit in Vancouver. Went to the Chiefs game, says Ollie. Our sevens lost to South Africa, says Spider-Mick. They certainly did, although now it looks like New Zealand are beating Ireland and Great Britain actually lost to South Africa. That is a massive upset. That probably shouldn't have happened. Now it's going to be the line-out throw for the Fijian Drua. Tavita Ikanaveri, I felt he was brilliant off the bench throughout that Rugby World Cup. I actually thought he should have got more starting minutes than he did. As Sam Matavesi was the man who they picked to get a little bit more. Apali Momo, his first run in the Fijian Drua kit, and he has been taken down well by this Blues defence. Frank Lamani fighting for possession in the breakdown, gets it out wide to Osifo Masi, taken down by Plummer. As Blues defence, they are quick, and they will definitely rush up onside most of the time. As I mentioned, you're doing the Six Nations today. We certainly are. Both games that are taking place, Ireland versus Wales, as well as the other matchup between Scotland and England. Zahn Sullivan taking the high ball well. Go Ioane. Couple steps backwards. He goes in the tackle of Celestino Ravatamanda. Some quick hands there from Josh Fisitua. Now Christie to the left, back into the pocket to Stephen Petafedu. Puts it down the middle of the park. Goes straight into the hands of the young number 15, Esakeli Rabito. Good defence though. Not really too many gaps opening up for either of these sides on attack just currently. Up a Salumi Vota. Driven backwards. Frank Lamani. And off to Masaki Donge. First receiver, Armstrong Ravula. That is a name that we will have to get used to, but we will see quite a bit of, I would say, throughout the Super Rugby Pacific season. Definitely with Muntz still with his injury. A nice attacking run forward from Ratu Rotuisolia. Out the back line, Tavita Ikanaveri gets it away to Upper Salome Vota. Now the youngster, Apele Momo, going down the wing. Lamani. Out across again to Tavita Ikanaveri. He breaks through 3 tackle attempts by the Blues defence. Lamani. Getting it away to the young fly-off. Almost went straight through the gap, but Anton Segner alongside Fusitua able to stop him. Lamani again. Big wide cut out pass from the skipper, Meri Derialangi. To to Celestino Ravatamunda. They're up to 10 phases now, the Fijian Drua. A nice pass to Asoana Silasila. His knee is down. Anton Segner plays the halfback at the perfect time. They just aren't giving up at the moment, the Fijian Drua. They are still trying to bust through this Blues defence. Like every lad says, Jacob, welcome in, mate. Another big run forward from Wanga. Gets his offload away to Taveta Ikanaveri. Now Lamani, Armstrong, Ravula. 15 phases the Drua have had the ball in 15 phases that they have not had a handling error. Sefo Masi almost going through, taken down by Anton Segner again. Solid D, says Mr. Holland. Yeah, they aren't budging at the moment, the Blues. And their defence and discipline being very strong throughout the early stages. Now, big run though, almost through, was Levi Natave. Across Armstrong, Ravula. Tackle low by Finley Christie. Round the side. Taveta Ikanaveri gets it away to Apili Momo. He is 5 metres out from the line. He was my pick to score the first try. So 2-2 almost at his hands on the ball. 20 phases in a row here for the Fijian Drua. This is making a statement, but they have to finish the job. Because if they don't, then that'll give the Blues a huge amount of confidence. Another nice wide pass. Brilliant defence. This is going to be draining the gas tank of the Blues side. Oh, the ball's come free. It's a knock-on from the Drua. Sam Derry is going to be the man who boots that one into touch, but they'll go back 23 phases. The Fijian Drua, they did make good distance and good territory, but they didn't finish the job. And I'm not worried. Drua's wheel will come off at some stage, and who was playing good Kiwi lads. Well, at this stage, they have only just started, but Armstrong Ravula, I'll be honest, he looks like a player who isn't on debut. He looks like he's having a very good solid start in terms of that vision, as well as not panicking when that Blues defence was rushing towards him. And also some good runs from Taveta Ikanaveri, the big man. And the fullback always looks dangerous with the ball. And Dan23 says, Mr. Allin, yeah, it's gonna probably be a little bit fatigue draining for the Blues, seeing as they are 5 minutes in and this is really their first chance with the ball. AMSG streaming Samoa versus Francis Tautala. We aren't, but we are going to let you know exactly what the score is. Currently, they are just kicking off now. But yeah, I've got it down here so that I will be able to see exactly what the score is throughout that game. It's going to be a penalty advantage in favour of the Blues at scrum time. Now they'll be able to relieve that pressure. Only 5 metres out from their own line here, the Blues. So they will look towards touch from Mars, says Mr. Nate. Oh, sorry, says Blues Nate. And you are from New Zealand. That is correct. Front row not pushing straight is the penalty. Blues were just able to win 5 metres out from their line. Stampede Feta. A good kick downfield there. Just a little half push to the side there. I think it was against Masaki Donge that ended up with that scrum slightly wheeling. Fiji has good kickers at 10 now. They have Ravula, Valentini and Muntz, says Caleb. I agree. I think that, like Caleb Muntz, it was probably, in my opinion, this is a huge statement. And of course, Malcolm Marx, after that injury took place, some would say that that was one of the biggest injuries of the World Cup. But for me, the difference Caleb Muntz would have made with the form he was in for Fiji was huge. And if he had been there at 10, rather than them trying to rejuggle a little bit with Tite Tela, and also, who was the other one they ended up putting there? I think it was actually, it wasn't Vula. They went with someone else. Oh, it was Motitu as well. But yeah, I think Muntz would have made a massive difference for Fiji. And Fiji and Drua come on, Drua. And the difference between the two teams is the Blues is a marathon team and the Druas is a sprint team. Drua no show. Says Spider-Mick and Tosa Drua Toso. Says Jalotho there. Another scrum feed, solid from both teams. The Blues rocking about a 16 kg weight advantage, and they just showed it there. Another big push at scrum time. A little bit of a mishap from Finley Christie. The ball goes backwards. He's going to be taken down early from Frank Lamani. They'll go back for another penalty. Another 3 penalty, losing his bind. That is Masaki Donge. Being penalised now twice in a row. Josh Fusitua really putting the power on him early. And just wheels that little bit. It was quite a strong scrum for a very long time. Just ended up going unbound near the last moment. That is a big boot towards the corner. Looks like a few dark clouds in the background. Hopefully the weather does stay nice throughout the full 80 minutes. An afternoon pads ablaze. Nice afternoon for the Blues in the New Zealand Warriors game. And there as well, says Blues. Now, I should mention, Tautala, at the moment, France are leading 5-0 in their game up against the Samoans, and it was the try from Zedar who managed to get it. And 2 in a row should be yellow. Says Spider-Man, well, normally this early on in the game for 2 different infringements, you wouldn't end up giving a yellow card just at this stage. Now, nice run from Josh Fusitua. So next one's probably a warning, though, for him. That's going to be the penalty. Finley Christie milked that beautifully. Stepping over the player, acting like he tripped over himself. Does get the advantage in favour of the Blues. That is going to be forward out of the hands of Rico Ioane. They will go back for another penalty in favour of the Blues. Crazy to see them struggling at the scrums. That's one thing Fiji is known for, beside them having good wings. Says Caleb. Hey, I think Masaki Tonge just not quite getting it right at the moment early on. Gaekanaveri, says Jatholo. And also, that's right, hope Warriors get up this time, says Pads Ablaze. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Them up against the Dolphins. Hopefully they can go all right. And straight away, the Blues actually kicking this one for the corner, ladies and gents. They know that to be high in the Super Rugby table, you do have to take risks. And you have to back yourselves to go to the corner, get multiple tries, and get that bonus point. Of course, Super Rugby just a little bit different to some of the other competitions we have around the world. Mainly because you have to have 3 or more tries than your opposition. It isn't so much you need 4 tries like some other competitions. It is you need 3 more than the other team. You can have 10 tries, but if the opposition have scored 8, you do not get a bonus point for tries scored. Big rolling maul here though for the Blues. Great work to stop Kurt Eklund just 1 metre short of the line. Fijian Drua defence. It's held up for now, but for how long? That's a try. So not very long. Hoskins Satutu. It's over the try line. I'll be back. Our boss checks on Timmy. Be right back. Says Blues Nato. What time is it in New Zealand? It's currently 4:47 p.m. But that is the first try of the match for the Blues. Done extremely well there. Scoring it nice and early. Yeah, just rolling very well forward. Trying to break through the side. He's awkward with the way that he was going down, Kurt Eklund, but in the end just couldn't quite wiggle his way through the defence. And Hoskins Atutu just decides to pick that one up, places it very strategically behind the back of one of the Fijian Drua players who were lying on the line. And up the Blues says Lord Forth. That is going to be the first try of the match. The first of many pads. And good morning from Ireland. The Crusaders were unlucky yesterday. I love the channel. Thanks for the contest. Or the content. Says Labras. And I should mention the reason that we didn't do that Crusaders versus Chiefs game. There were a couple reasons, but one of which was that we were at a wedding. So that is why I wasn't able to cover it. But also, I did want to make sure that there wasn't going to be any copyright issues. As some of you guys will know, the match that took place between the Chiefs and the Crusaders last year, I did get a copyright strike for, which was very unfortunate, seeing as it was the final of the competition. And up till that stage, we had covered maybe 65 games of Super Rugby. But that kick is unsuccessful from Stephen Petafeta. The ball has blown off the tee. Fijian Drua have charged it down. So, yeah, that's a bit of an unfortunate one for Stephen Petafeta. Should have had someone hanging onto that ball, maybe not expecting as much wind as they have got there. But Caleb Clark taking that kick off nicely and trying to get the turnover, then unable to do so. Who do you think will be a replacement for Will Jordan in the All Blacks? Says Luke. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because he's out for a long time, Will Jordan. So I would say, I mean, they've got McKenzie and Barrett, but they've both moved to different positions, haven't they? And I'm talking Geordie Barrett, but you could say Bowden Barrett is. I think they'll go Bowden at 15, because at the end of the day, Bowden had that 15. Oh, wait, no, Bowden's overseas, isn't he? So you lose him. Geordie Barrett might have to go 15. Or you go with McKenzie 15 and then someone else at 10. Whether that's one of the young guys, Zahn Sullivan 15 on the cards maybe. Got a few young options at the moment, the ABs. It's just who they want to pull the trigger on and decide to keep around for a little while. If a Bossy was there, the Drua would win. Sean Stevenson, he probably does deserve the chance to have a crack, seeing as he was right on the cusp last year. Finley Christie, nice step around the defence of Meri Derialangi, but already the Blues are up to the 22 of the draw. The missed pass from Christie goes to Mark Talia. It sits up for him, and he is quick stepping and always dangerous when he gets himself a little bit of space. Already 13 minutes gone through this game. It is a fast-paced game of rugby, and that will be fatiguing for these two sides. Finley Christie back to Satutu. Goes to Sam Derry. Tui Palotu out. That is another big injury that the Blues had to fill the gap for. Rico Ioane trying to break through, but Osefo Masis wrestled him down. Is a Razor going to try to get overseas players, says Luke. There are talks of that, but it's whether or not, like I guess the All Blacks board in general do allow for overseas eligibility. Because normally they try and keep it inside of New Zealand, try and keep players in New Zealand, but the money overseas is just too good, so it's going to be very hard to do so. Dalton Papali'i, 5 metres out from the line. The Blues searching for that second try. 13 phases in. We saw 23 from the draw earlier on in this contest. Now Christie, it's gone to Clark, and in his 50th game, he's going to score the try between the sticks. It's another one for the Blues, and they are looking aggressive here early on, ladies and gents, going try after try. Crowd don't look too happy. Must be more Drua supporters than Blues. I would say, let's go the Drua. And also hope Drua wins. And also go the Drua, go, says Travis. And there as well, Hoskins Atutu managing to find that quick offload to Kurt Eklund, which kept the momentum moving forward. And Caleb was like, I better put the ball down. Yeah, he kind of ran through. He's that unusual. Oh, hang on. He was looking at the touch judge, Caleb Clark. He looked off to the side to see if the touch judge was going to give it as a forward pass or a knock on or anything. Raised his eyebrow kind of like, and then put the ball down. So he actually thought it was going to be no try, but Stephen Petafeta does get the kick over. Now makes the score 14-0 in favour of the Blues after just the 15 minutes. Just a little bit too one-sided at this point of the match, you'd have to say, for the Fijian Drua. They had that really good first burst. I mentioned about trying to make the most of the opportunity of putting together so many phases. They haven't been able to do so. Also, I should mention, anyone wondering about the sevens, currently Samoa are losing to France 21 points to 7, but there is still time left, half time, and also a yellow card to Neueli Letufia, who is missing. Oh, it's an ugly landing for Hoskins Atutu, but he gets back up to his feet. Tackled again by Celestino Ravatamanda. Did grow into the season last year. Liza Druasisi, another player who they would love to be able to use some stage in the future. For now, we've got the young debut of Isekele Rabitu, who has touched the ball once at this point. Slammed down the middle of the field off the boot. It's going to be put high by Rabitu, the man who I just said hadn't touched the ball enough. He might have been taken out. Zahn Sullivan goes off to Stephen Petafeta, the fly half. Puts the boot in behind. Well controlled there by Celestino Ravatamanda. Armstrong Ravula now puts the ball up high again. Hopefully Clark will actually play for the All Blacks this year. Says Luke, he struggled for minutes last year, but he's probably got a very good chance now. To be honest, that's a great kick. Zahn Sullivan. Brilliant kick to the corner. He will get the 50-22 for the Blues. The first of their Super Rugby Pacific season, but just getting on the outside of Celestino Ravatamanda. Sometimes you got to hope for the favourable bounce, and that is exactly what Sullivan got. Now 22 metres out, Kurt Eklund with the line-out throw for the Blues. Their last rolling ball was effective. They made metres with it. Can they do so again? Slapped to the side there for Josh Berry. See claimed there by Harry Plummer, and Dunners is going to get rowdy for the Landers game already, or is getting rowdy. Of course, they have got their matchup against Moana Pacifica just around the corner. Now driving forward nicely for Hoskins Atutu. Caleb Clark around the side of the breakdown. That sounds like another penalty advantage. This time it was a good tackle made by Ilya Thanakaivata. Only a few metres out. Papali'i driving his legs. Almost managed to break his way through, but Finley Christie going across to Kurt Eklund. He's knocked it on. And they'll now go back for the original knock-on. What's wrong with the scoreboard, Hammy? In what way? I think at one stage I said 14-0, didn't I, rather than 12, but 12 is correct, and it's also the correct time at the moment. Hoskins at 2-2 almost went through, and I think it was, Frank Lamani actually making the tackle off the ball on Josh Fusitua. Oh no, they've got him for not releasing. I feel like there were maybe about 2 or 3 penalties that were all given in one go there. But either way, the Blues have once again backed their scrum. They've already won 2 penalty advantages. This one might be no different. I can't believe how quick this first 18 minutes have gone, though. Of course, the Blues, with so much attacking rugby, has probably led to the score going a little bit quicker and the time going quicker than some would have expected. But I'm expecting a high-scoring game between Moana Pacifica and the Highlanders, which is just around the corner. Now Finley Christie gets it off to Caleb Clark, tackled by Lamani. But they are only 10 metres out from the line now for the Blues. Sam Derry, has creeped that a little bit closer to the 5-metre line. Anton Segner round the side, originally tackled by Apasalumi Vota. Just to 2-2. Tried to get the offload away to Eklund, and he does so. Now Christie with the wide cutout pass. Gone out to Mark Delia. Normally a dangerous finisher in the corner, but he's been tackled well. And another knock on there, but another penalty advantage, and now they are going to do the double blow of the whistle. This might not be good for the Fijian Drua here. Okay, 13 white was offside. In that case, it would have been Osefo Masi. Bino Kepa said, if you don't sort out your discipline soon, I'm going to be sending one of your men off the field. Should mention for the Sevens, 33 points to 7 in favour of France over the Samoans. A lot more one-sided than Samoa would have liked after pulling off such a good win over the Australians. But the last 5 penalties have all gone against the Fijian Drua. And the scrum, to be honest, might not be any different here. And with the fact that they've already received that warning, there is a chance that we see the Fijian Drua with only 14 men on the field for the next 10 or so minutes. Keith just organising the front rows. Dotun Papali'i trying to fire up his team here. And the Drua have to watch over Mark Delia, says Jalotho. He's a tricky man to mark, pardon the pun, because he's so good at slipping out of tackles. And normally you need 2 defenders, but then if he gets an offload, which he doesn't offload often, Mark Delia, but if he does, he's probably going to have a Rico Ioane or a Harry Plummer or someone on the inside who can be just as dangerous when given that little bit more space. Penalty advantage again goes the way of the Blues. And scrum time, quick hands, Rico Ioane out to Sullivan, who will score in the corner. It is the 3rd try of the match for the Blues. This one's getting uglier than I thought it would be. I said that the Blues could win by 25. I feel like at the moment it's looking like it's going to be 40 plus. Not the start to the game that the Drua after. Perfect start for the Blues though. They have already got themselves in the position of what would be a bonus point. Dad died last night. Please, Drua, make my dad happy, please. It was Rish there, so I do apologise for your loss. Caleb Clark. Gap on the outside to Rico Ioane and Zahn Sullivan. He's putting in a very good shift here. He's trying to argue maybe if that 15 jersey's up for grabs, he could be taking it on and making it his own. Definitely because the original reason that the Blues got into this part of the field was because of Zahn Sullivan's 50-22. Then it gave them attacking line. It looks like Stephen Petafeta once again opting to not go with a man to help him out off the kicking tee. 44 metres out here. They've got kicks today for Stephen Petafeta as 1 from 1, which is correct in a way because he never got to take that other kick when the ball fell off the tee. Are we all good there? Am I dreaming? Let me out to try. That one's gone away for Stephen Petafeta. Almost came back late when he had turned his back. I don't think he really expected it to have any sort of chance, but the score will remain 17-0 in favour of the Blues. And a great try for Zahn Sullivan. So we have seen score or try so far from the forwards and from the backs. Doing extremely well across the board, the Blues. Alright, we will go like this. We'll go like that as well. There we go. Now the Blues back in possession. Referee says play on. Kurt Eklund hits it up. He's already been very busy with the lineouts as well as a few rolling mauls that have taken place today. So Alan Sullivan kicks it down the middle of the field. Nicely taken by, I was going to say Frank Lamani, but that's actually Kelly Rebitu, who was sitting there at the back. Anton Segner gets straight into the breakdown, but he was not quite on the ball. I believe there was also, the elbow went down, not supporting the body weight. Drua get themselves the penalty here again. The Drua need a try before the end of this first half. If they are unable to do so, it's going to be a long day at the office. Speaking of long days at the office, 40 points to 7 in favour of France. They are destroying the Samoan points difference that they gained. And the last one, I come on the Drua, it's hard to watch. There's some run there. Yeah, Anton Segner, just the elbow going down, so he wasn't supporting his body weight. He initially got in a very good position, 45-0. Says Mr. All-In. Okay. Tell you what, if the Drua can't stop the Blues from scoring, which they've just messed up their own lineup, but luckily they have been able to take it back. If they can't stop the Blues scoring the way that they are currently, we could be looking at even 50 points on the board for the Blues, if not higher. Fijian Drua getting some much needed position. Anton Segner again trying to make a nuisance of himself in the breakdown. I don't think the Drua are protecting that ball enough with someone like Segner. Just dives into the breakdown. Tries to steal it now, chasing this one. Celestino Ravatamanda doesn't get it, but he takes the man out in the air, so that will be the penalty to the Blues. Again, the discipline let him down the Drua here. We all know what the Blues are capable of. The Blues are a hard team to reckon with, says Spider Mick. Tackling player in the air. Goes against Celestino Ravatamanda. Zahn Sullivan, he will be booting this one towards the touchline off his left, and that is a very strong kick down towards 25 metres out. He just didn't quite get the jump right there. Ravatamanda didn't get high enough, which then in turn ended up with him taking out the player. He knows that he did the wrong thing there as well. He was frustrated with himself, but once again gives a lot more distance to the Blues and territory. That wasn't straight though from Kurt Eklund, making one of his first errors that we have seen of the game. Now the Drua with an opportunity to have a scrum feed of their own. We have a good there, morning folks, long time no viewing. Says Peter Wild, welcome in mate, hope you are doing extremely well. We've of course got plenty more coming for Super Rugby as well as the Six Nations. We are covering both of the games that are taking place tonight, first of which being Ireland taking on Wales, and then the second game Scotland versus England. That'll be taking place at around, I think it's 5:45 a.m. that second game here in New Zealand. It's in about 12 hours or so. I'm not sure if I'll get any sleep before that point though, which might be slightly unfortunate. Lamani going across to Armstrong, Ravula. Nice step there. Apasalomi Vota making a couple extra very important meters for the Fijian Drua. There was a little bit of a report before the game about the Drua. How normally they don't look to clear it when they're inside of their 22. They are just outside it, and it does look like Lamani was considering a kick, but now they are going back to attacking. Ikanaveri. You're saying Samish made it to Montenegro. You're saying next stop, I'll go the Chiefs. And blokes making our Fijian families cringy with the awkward comments, Says a Blues Nate. And also, hi PW, pleased to meet you, says Spider Mick. Anton Segner this time has ended up penalised for joining the ruck incorrectly. It looks like an injury here though for Celestino Ravatamanda. I believe he got a knock right on the neck. Doesn't look like he's too comfy. Some very deep breaths being taken by the Blues fullback, including Segner. Trying to work out. It was originally, I thought, the neck of Celestino Ravatamanda. And now I'm starting to wonder, is it, oh no, I know what it is. It's their ankle. I think he got a bit of a knock on the neck anyway, but as he landed, I think Mark Talia, all of his weight went sideways on the ankle of Rivitamunda. Probably very lucky that it didn't snap. Now, big run from Vota. Erased by Mekenyu. Now, nice bit of work in the breakdown from the Blues, and the big physical hit means that the ball pops free. The draw back in possession, though. Here comes Rabitu. Many missed tackles for the Blues throughout this first 27 minutes. And if they don't start missing tackles, I think that the Drua will have to start going for a few more unorthodox plays, trying to work out how to break through this Blues defence. We saw 23 phases. Since then, I think the highest that we've seen from the Blues is maybe 5. Now back across. Nice stepping from Armstrong Ravula. Bit of a counter ruck there from, I think that's Rico Ioane. He's still trying to walk through the middle of the breakdown. I think he was trying his best to get the Fijian Drua to neck roll him, or just try and clean him out illegally. Now back across, nice inside ball. Good spin there from Natava. He's actually had a very good game so far, other than, of course, the scrums, but that has been more on Masaki Donga. Side back run from Tavera Kanaveri, taken down by Hoskins Satutu. Now Lamani. Back across, it's a knock on there from Masaki Donga. Man who has given away 2 scrum penalties. Hasn't quite been his day as of yet. Like I said, just trying to build phases, trying to get their hands on the ball and keep it on it for a little while. Just looked up to see who was going to be charging at him. And unfortunately, the ball did not stick to the hands. Looks like Ben O'Keefe just having a little bit of a chat with Meri Deriarangi. I think that is about the scrums. Once again, the Blues will have the opportunity, and that's not exactly a bad thing for the Blues. I think that they'll be more than happy with the chance of having a scrum. First Super Rugby match for Josh Beattie. He has looked not out of place whatsoever. Him and Sam Derry, quite a young locking duo. But it's done very well so far. Water has been told to get off the field. 17-0. The moment is how this game sits, ladies and gents. Still a lot of time to go. Already we have seen these results of the Super Rugby Pacific competition. The Hurricanes managing to win up against the Western Force by the 30 points. The Brumbies victorious over the Rebels by 27. Both teams receiving the bonus point there. Chiefs getting themselves the victory over the Crusaders by 4 points, but they do not receive a bonus point. At the moment, with the way that this game sits, the Blues would be sitting in 3rd on the overall table. But there is still, like I mentioned, plenty of time still remaining. That's why they hand yawn, a half and coffee, and only one eye open, eating down for breakfast. You can't take on the Blues in the middle. There's no way through. Chance out wide, says Spider Mick. And the Bros, the try scorer's Bro, says Aiden, all doubled up on the Bro there. But the try scorer's Bro so far, Bro, have been Hostin Satutu. We've also seen the try for Caleb Clark, and then most recently, we saw the try of Zahn Sullivan. Bro. And Brumbies and the Rebels was a good match to watch. If you support the Brumbies, it was. The Rebels, not so much. Unfortunately, just really struggling to get themselves some points on the board. I think the Blues will score 30 to the Drua's 25. I think the Chiefs will go down to 6 due to points difference, says Novmum. That's how much you win by to get a bonus, Sammy. So you do have to win by 3 or more tries than your opposition, is the ruling. So it's a little bit different in Super Rugby compared to pretty much any other competition around the world. Most of the time we do see if you score 4 tries, you get the bonus point. But in Super Rugby, they have got it a little bit different, and you have to be 3 or more ahead. Now, the Fijians, after winning the penalty, they are actually going to be taking on 3 points here. Now, of course, there is still a lot of ground to make up, but at least having some points on the board will make them feel just that little bit better. It also gives them a chance to reset and reevaluate. The kick is good, and the first points in Super Rugby for Isaiah Armstrong Ravula. It is successful, 17 points to 3. A lot of big changes for the Drua, of course, bringing in this youngster Armstrong Ravula, also Epimomo, and alongside him, Ezekiel Rubuto. I didn't know there was a winger in the Force named Harry Potter, cracked up, says Naz Williams. Yeah, he is an ex-Leicester Tigers man. And a very good player. Like, he's an unfortunate nickname. They've actually asked him whether or not it's related to Harry Potter, but his name, they gave it to him about 5 months before the books were written by J.K. Rowling. So, yeah, not quite named after the movie. Perhaps the movie was named after him. How big is the crowd? I think they got like, I want to say 10 to 15,000 in attendance, somewhere around there. Hopefully we do get to see it a little bit later on. Have the Blues winning 47 points to 17. Says pads of plays, more than doable. Of course, it's going to be put high from Frank Lamani. Nicely taken by Sullivan, who bumps off the tackle attempt of a Soana Silasila. Now Christie back across to Perifera, gets it to Tavao. He's taken a big shot from Tavera Ekanaveri again. That's offside from the Fijian. I believe there was Apasalumi Vorta who was very close. Hello, bro. Is that bigger crowd than normal? It looks like a decent crowd. Like, this is a stadium in Whangarei that we haven't really seen, that I know of, too many rugby matches take place at, other than, of course, the lower level, like NPC. Because, yeah, Eden Park was unavailable due to the cricket that was taking place between New Zealand and Australia, which, I'll be honest, is a little bit rough. At the end of the day, opening game for the Blues, they would have loved to be at home for this fixture, but Mark Talia now in the midfield. Christie going back across to Sam Derry. Blues want to put a little bit more icing on that cake. Mark Talia gets the offload away to Josh Beatty, pops it up to Anton Segner. Thought about reaching out, but he's still a few too many meters short to Leah. He's dropped just short of the line. Thought he was going in. The Hillsborough try, step pass out wide. Dalton Papali scores the try, and that is now the 4th for the Blues. Clark looking lean and mean this year. Says Naz Williams. I think that's, to be honest, that's because at the end of the day, there's a space open in the All Blacks now. With so many players going overseas, if you get it right throughout the season, you've got a good chance of Scott Robinson noticing that. Then you'll be right where you need to be in that All Black squad. And the Kieran emoji. And 3x3 says the Log King. Outside Bean, who's winning the Sevens tournament tomorrow. Any favourites? Says Aiden, I won't tell you because I assume you're going to put a bet on it again. But I have to say there's been a couple upsets already. We saw South Africa beat New Zealand and then Great Britain beat South Africa. France are looking good though throughout this competition. And yes, says Spider Mick. 33 minutes through, 22 points on the board. I think it's going to hurt them here, the Fijian Drua. They've had too many missed tackles throughout this matchup, and every time they miss a tackle, that seems to be exactly when the Blues are able to be their most effective. I've stopped gambling as I've decided to seek out. Good on you. Like, at the end of the day, it was the right decision, just because on, of course, the old school streams, you will know that you did go a bit too hard on it, I would say, but the kick is unsuccessful for Perifera, so we've only actually seen one successful conversion throughout the first 4 tries that have been scored by the Blues. Dalton Pabali, the only loose forward who has not scored now is Anton Segner for the Blues, but there is still plenty of time left in this game. The Drua just walking up to halfway. How do they answer back? I think the Drua will be the 8th place. Says Jalotho. I think the worst thing for the Fijian Drua here is the fact that their points differential could be destroyed before the season really gets underway. Oh, great run though from Apasalumi. Vorta almost went through but has knocked it on after the brilliant carry. Now Caleb Clark kicking off the left boot. Not something you would normally do, but it's actually a decent kick. And yes, come on, the Blues keep going. Big run forward from Apasalumi. Vorta managing to break through the tackle attempt on Josh Fusitoa, but Finley Christie just jumped on his back. Thrown in by Tavera Kanaveri, claimed by the Fijian Drua. They are now in possession. Anton Segner makes the tackle on Ilya Tharakoivata. The knees are down, the Blues have to release, but they're just being extremely physical and, like, in a good way, disruptive in the breakdown. There is another penalty advantage this time. I think it is for playing a man round his neck. Lamani going after Sona Silla, big fin from Tavera Kanaveri. Clark misses the tackle, but Christie finishes the job now around the side of the breakdown. Only 7 metres out from the line. Lamani going across. How much of a clear release that was from Dalton Papali. The Blues really towing the line at the moment of what is legal and what isn't. They are going back for the original high tackle, though, in favour of the Fijian Drua. 45-0 in the tries. How many points would that be? 45 times 5. $225, is that the right? 45 times 5? Yeah, maybe somewhere around there. 225, something like that. 22-3. Draws really 23 or 22-3 Blues, sorry. Says Spider-Man, but they have decided now to go for the corner here. The Fijian Drua, they have still got 3 minutes remaining in this half. Still time to be able to increase the pressure and cut down on that deficit a little bit. If they score a converted try now, like, they're not out of this game. And I know that looking at the scoreboard, you would think otherwise, but, you know, only being down by 12. Yes, 12's a lot. That's 2 converted tries, but it's much better than being down by what they are currently. Thrown in by Tavera Ikanaveri, and it's stolen by Sam Derry. Someone needs to sleep. Well, unfortunately, we don't get much over the weekend. Definitely not this weekend. We have got streams all throughout the nights, plus all throughout the day with the 7s. I think I'm going to be sneaking like 3 hours sleep across the next 2 or 3 nights. It's going to be Sullivan's pass. I believe it travelled forward. Beno Keith thinks otherwise. It is going to be play on for the Blues. Harry Plummer gets it back to Stephen Perifetta. Oscar to do pass on the outside. Here comes Caleb Clark. Pinning the ears back. Tackle well. I think that was playing the ball off the ground, or with the knees down, I should say. Oh, it's going to be a yellow card as well for the youngster on debut, Armstrong Ravula. That's going to hurt them. 2 minutes remaining in the half, and now the Drua. It's not their game at the moment, unfortunately. They just haven't quite looked like they are in form. Stephen Perifetta putting that ball into touch. 5 metres out by Caleb Clark, showing some good speed. It's tackled there by Apeli Momo. I think we've seen run the ball once. Now Kurt Eklund to throw this ball in. I see taken by Oscar Zatutu going to the short side. Anton Segner, like I mentioned earlier, the one loose forward who hasn't been able to score for the Blues, but the Fijian Drua win themselves the penalty this time. My mouth is closed, but not on chat, says Rish. So some sort of shoulder injury there for Peli Momo. Hopefully nothing too serious. When he's defending here, it just gets an awkward little bend in the elbow, I think, for Peli Momo. He should be all right to continue, but the Drua, they have kicked that ball into touch. They are still inside of their own 22. They got 30 seconds remaining, and I'd like to think that the Drua, they'll just look to close out this line out, put the ball into touch, and accept that the score going into halftime is 22 points to 3. The last thing that they can afford to do is to make a massive mistake here and allow the Blues to score themselves another try. Come on, Yellow. 3 points is bad enough. Yellow can't play 14 against the Blues, says Spider-Mick. Lamani, oh, it's charged down by Angus Tarval. Loose bouncing ball. Still, it's a knock on twice. And I think that's going to be the try for Oscar Zatutu. That was one of the scrappiest exits we have seen from the Drua. They might just check to see if Oscar Zatutu has knocked that ball on right at the end. So his monopoly has been supreme. Says Katzel, or Katzenel, I should say. A charge down by Angus Tarval. Good chase from him. Puts enough pressure on the young 15 Rabitu. And then Oscar Zatutu I don't think he's knocked this on. Nah, it's hit him in the shin. So that will be play on, and that will be another try. Like I just said, they couldn't afford to let the opposition score just before halftime, and they did. And Drua have to win against the Crusaders. It's going to be a tough game. I'll be honest, I haven't seen too much in this game from the Drua other than that opening, like maybe 5 minutes. That was when they were looking at their very best. But from there, it's just been repeated pressure from the Blues. Stephen Perafeta, he has got that kick over. And at half-time, the score sits 29 points to 3. We have already seen 5 tries for the Blues here. This is not the start that they were after in this match. For the Drua, that is. The Blues, they'll be loving it. 5 tries. 3, 2, 1, 0. I'm 35 years old now. Not quite. You said it was a little bit later on that you were becoming 35. But at half-time, stats advantage, I would say, should be in favour of the Blues. We'll see what stats we've got here. But, yeah, not the start that the Drua are after. Currently sitting very similar to the scoreline we saw between the Brumbies and the Rebels last night, except that was at full-time. Interesting metres game. We actually see an advantage in favour of the Fijian Drua, sitting at 146 metres gained compared to the Blues 108. Defenders beaten is 10 apiece. We have seen more clean breaks from the Blues compared to the Drua, sitting 3 clean breaks compared to the 1. More offloads from the Blues, 7 in total. They've had to make 90 tackles. A lot of those was early on. It looks Super Rugby is going to be the same as always, says Spank Zuthi. Hopefully I said that correctly. And missed tackles, we're seeing 9 missed from the Drua, 11 missed from the Blues. So not many gaps opening up in that Blues defence, but when they have been open, we just haven't seen enough from the Fijian Drua when it comes to their attack. But we have seen the 5 tries, like I mentioned, first of which was scored by Hoskins Satutu. He also managed to score the last of the half. We also saw Dalton Pavali score. We saw Caleb Clark get one, and Zan Sullivan the other. Try scorer in the future, Drua will be the champion, says Jolofa. I hope that they are. I think that they've got a lot of potential in terms of being able to build up these young players and turn them into superstars. We saw that with Fanai Habossi. We saw that with Osefo Masi, who luckily is still at the Drua for this season. He's playing 13 in this game, but we haven't really seen a huge amount of him. As you mentioned, for anyone wondering who are coming off the bench for the Blues, it is Ricky Riccatelli, Jordan Lay, as well as Marcel Renata, Lachlan McWannell and Adrian Choate, then Sam Knock, AJ Lamb, and also Cole Forbes there at number 23 for the Fijian Drua, Dolakoto, also Tanieri, and Kuroi Dua Vofi is there at 19. Valive Miramira, Pini Matawalu. It's a little bit of a shame not to see Kuravoli get the opportunity throughout this game. Kimi Valentini. Now, if this game was a lot closer, perhaps he could have been a really good super sub to make later on in the contest. And then will be Samusami Vodre there as the last man for the Fijian Drua. Update in the 7 side of things. For Pool B, we just saw the USA beat Australia 27 points to 21. It's probably quite beneficial for the Samoans, as they will still more than likely be in the top 3. Fiji do play Canada in a very short moment. As the game progresses, we will give you updates on that one as well. We have there, sorry you are not reading my comments. That's why, so you can see my comments, says Rish. And there, I mean, anything that you've repeated in the comment section, Rish, I don't read out, mainly because if I've read it once, I'm not going to read it every time you put it, just because that would entice more people to spam. And hey, Hamish, been home since 1 p.m, so I will do to live stream before you ask. I feel up for it, says Brandon. And there as well, some player stats throughout their half. Of course, we did see Armstrong Ravula get himself a yellow card right at the end of that first half. Most running meters so far throughout the first half, though, did go to Hoskins Satutu with 33, getting himself the 2 tackles. and also beating a defender, having a clean break. And alongside that, I think he made a few tackles. We're actually seeing 50 metres for Rebitu throughout this one. And Tavera Ikanaveri managing to beat 3 defenders with 25 metres carried throughout. Anton Segner sitting on 12 tackles. Josh Fusitua, though, sitting at the top of the mark with 14. And Dalton Pavali just a little bit behind with the 11 as well. Frank Lamani making the most tackles for the Fijian Drua, making 8. We've also seen 6 from Nasilasila and 5 from Masaki Donge, as well as Apa Solomivota. But the second half is going to be so important that the Drua don't take their foot off the gas. If they already didn't have it off, that is. Seeing 5 tries, which is actually how much they normally average per game that they play in Super Rugby. The fact that there are already 5 on the board for the Blues here, I'll put on my Fiji shirt. This will be good, but I'm deeply disappointed. So here's Brandon. And there as well. But looking at the way the preseason went for these two sides, the most points that we have seen the Blues score in a preseason fixture was 57. They also managed to get 43 and 38. They are well and truly on their way towards being able to score somewhere around those same points. Fijian Drua, they have been left tryless throughout that first 40. They were able to score tries up against the Rebels. They also scored quite a few tries up against the Brumbies, so they have the capabilities of being able to score tries. It's just going to be the task of whether or not they can get the job done. But anyone who is new to the channel, of course, I should mention, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It is greatly appreciated you all being here for this live stream. We have got plenty more coming just around the corner. Your team is losing, no doubt about it. Says Mr. All-In. Yeah, they're going to need a miracle in the second half to be able to get back into this contest. There are still 2 games of this round of Super Rugby as well, I should mention. The first of which going to be the Highlanders versus Moana Pacifica. That is kicking off at 7 p.m. New Zealand time. And then there is a game just a little bit later on at about 10 or 10:30, I think it is, New Zealand time, between the Reds and the Waratahs. Now, I should mention we aren't actually covering either of those games on the channel, but we are going to be keeping a close eye on them. And we will have a lot more of Super Rugby next weekend. Be sure to keep an eye on that as well. The games that are taking place, I should say, next weekend. The Islanders taking on the Blues. That'll be the Friday night fixture. Moana Pacifica versus Fijian Drua, alongside Crusaders versus Waratahs. That will be the Saturday covered. These are all Super Round games as well, so all taking place in Melbourne. And then the Chiefs versus Brumbies early on the Sunday. Hurricanes versus Reds on at 6:30. So, quite a few big games just around the corner. Should mention in the game between Fiji and Canada, the way that the score currently sits, I believe, is still 0-0 between those two sides. We cannot underestimate what Canada can do. What games are Euro games tomorrow morning, says Naz Williams. So for the Six Nations, first game that is kicking off is going to be Ireland when they do take on the Welsh. And that kickoff, I'll just make sure I've got it right. I believe it's 3:15 a.m. though. Yep, 3:15 a.m. And then the game between Scotland and England kicks off at 5:45 a.m. When Brisbane playing, they are playing later on tonight in their game up against the Waratahs. The Queensland Reds, where are they? One moment. They are going to be playing at 10:05. Your team stands no chance too, says Mr. All-In. My team, but I won't be takeout on Hamish, says Brandon. And no, I Drua. Just showing the kicks and play. A lot more kicking meters coming for the Blues. They are trying to force the Drua deeper into their half, as well as, of course, those kicks towards the touchline. A lot more penalties conceded by the Drua. That was me trying not to yawn, but I still kind of yawned at the same time. But the biggest difference in points that we have seen, 30 throughout this season. That was the Hurricanes, which is why they sit top of the bunch on their 5 points with the points differential of plus 30. The Brumbies, their points differential was plus 27. And the Chiefs and the Crusaders plus 4, minus 4. Of course, pretty close overall. Crusaders getting themselves a bonus point for being within 7. But the way that the score currently sits here, the Blues have also got themselves the bonus point. They do have a chance of losing that if the Drua are able to score 3 tries throughout the second half. I was looking forward to hearing back from my wife because she's trying to get a job at Pizza Hut. Smart lady, Brandon. Pizza Hut. Do love the stuff. In fact, now I want pizza, but sadly Pizza Hut is 30 minutes away. And that's 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back. So I don't think it's going to be happening, for me anyway. Second half just around the corner, the Blues. Going to keep on piling on that pressure. 5.45 Ks, or is that the New Zealand? 5.45 K, or is that the New Zealand? I'm confused at what you mean, Rish. Do let me know. I read it 4 times and I still didn't work it out, to be fair. But we haven't seen too much of Tonia Buse-Wanga, who is actually playing at number 6 for the Fijian Drua. I think I've only said his name once so far, whereas the loose forward trio for the Blues, you've heard me repeatedly say Satutu Papali time. So it is currently 5:31 p.m. here in New Zealand. So, yeah, the games are actually, like, Super Rugby's great in terms of time zones. The time zones for Six Nations, not so much. 3:15 is when the first one is going to be starting, but we are going to be live covering that game on the channel as well. So if you guys are new, be sure, of course, to hit that subscribe button. We've got Super Rugby next week. The week after that is a big week in terms of who are playing off. Fijian Drua taking on the Crusaders, Hurricanes, Blues, Reds versus Chiefs. Some really awesome games can be taking place on that Saturday. Crusaders Hurricanes. That is the week after, round 4. That is a fixture that I don't think many people know how it's going to go. Bro, the game, says the Log King. And there as well. Which game? Like this game? The Log King? Because we are still waiting for the second half to get back underway. Chiefs versus Fijian Drua, that is at 7:30 p.m. on the 16th of March. Amy is saying Crusaders will lose without their coach, says Mr. All-In. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be tricky. I also haven't played Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Naperville for 9 months. I have to say I need to cry because it's been a while, says Brandon. In there as well. I thought that they were getting rid of the online for that game, Brandon. I thought you told me a little while ago because they were going to bring out like a new one. We're getting a lot of ads at the moment here in New Zealand. They're giving us ads for food. Now they're giving us ads for moisturising cream. A word on Joe Root's Fighting Century says BRB. Anytime people talk bad about him, he goes out there and he pretty much just shuts up everyone. Like, remember last week when he did that reverse sweep and got bowled, or got caught, sorry, at second slip, and everyone went, oh, Joe Root, what's he doing? What an idiot. You know, he's supposed to be a good batsman, but he's being silly. Now he goes out and gets a century just to really quiet them down. And I'd rather see the ABs win 14. Says Mr. All-In, my Storm kicked the Knights. Says, was there from Spider-Mick. The other game where Fiji 7's playing, says the Lol Kings are currently in that one. Canada are actually winning 12 points to 7. Just waiting to see if I've got another update in terms of the score of that one. But like I said earlier on, you can't underestimate what this Canadian side can do. They are actually very effective when it comes to scoring. So at halftime, it is 12 points to 7. No, sorry, they didn't. I like new one. I might be better than Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Naperville or Neighbourhood. There's a Brandon. We've seen just the 2 conversions for Stephen Petafeta. The 3 points on the board for the Fijian Drua. They took it earlier on. Did you know about De Villiers is now a YouTuber just like you? AB De Villiers is it? BRB. And come on the Blues. Says the Rabiach there. But tackles we have seen 90 made. Canadian who? So Canada versus Fiji at the moment in the 7s. Canada are winning 12 points to 7. So, yeah, that's a little bit of a surprise. But then saying that, we've seen Canada pull off upsets before, and I'm sure we will see more of them pulling off upsets in the future as well. They have just talked to Glenn Jackson one of the not so happy Fijian Drua coaches after that first half performance. They need to step up. They need to try and match that physicality because the Blues at the moment, they're loose forward and actually their whole four-pack. The way that I would describe it, I said it earlier on, they're being nuisances in the breakdown, but they're doing it legally. You know, they're just pushing the half back a little bit, or they're grabbing a guy and just scragging him to the side, trying to frustrate the Fijians and cause a bit of disruption. Let us know at full-time, Hamish. Says a Mr. Orlin. And 12 all now, says no mum. So yeah, Fiji just getting themselves back into the contest. Second half just about to take place. The Blues will be kicking off from left to right. First half started with a massive bit of phase play from the Fijian Drua. New Zealand lost the T20 series yesterday. Your thoughts? I thought that they played a lot better in the first match than they did in the second. Second one, they just didn't look like they were ever going to win it, to be honest. Like, yes, they were taking early wickets, but the pitch was that grippy that Australia's bowlers were going to outclass them every day of the week. And when are we back on, Emmy? We are back on now. The kick has gone into touch from Stephen Petafeta. And still half time? Nah, just back now. Fijian Drua have got themselves the line-out with Taveta Ikanaveri. Still another 6.5 minutes remaining of the yellow card. There's a bit of time remaining now. And I mean, the Drua, 2 or 3 tries. That's all they need in this half just to put on a really, I guess, competitive game. Rugby Westlake on sassing up the championship, Hamish. What's on or thoughts on our depth? Says Mr. Orlin. Why does Westlake, why should it sound so familiar? Lamani doesn't look too flashy here. He looks like he's going to continue. He gets back to another breakdown, and now they will go back for the original penalty. Why does Kane Williamson play minimal white ball cricket? Mainly because of injury, I think. Unfortunately, he just hasn't been able to avoid getting injured for a long enough period. Hamish, do you think the 3, or that they're going to be 2 rugby championship with Fiji, Samoa, Japan, and Tonga? Well, they normally have their Pacific Nations Cup, of course. If Fiji and Japan join that competition that they're talking of with the 12 top sides, I think it's really going to hurt Samoan and Tongan rugby because they just won't get the same amount of games, I don't think, up against those top sides anymore. And Super Rugby as competitive as F1 at this point, I mean, very hard to tell. We're only at round 1. But the Crusaders are looking like they're not quite going to be the same side as last year, although saying that, they started poorly last year and went on to win the whole thing. Like someone's boot just fell apart. It was Taveta Ikanaveri flying forward. Another penalty advantage in favour of the Fijian Drua. Lamani with a bit of a rough pass. Doesn't get a huge amount of height on it. Round the side, Momo. Taken down by Sam Derry. And Don Signal once again just trying to look towards those breakdowns and trying to steal the ball. Going off now to Rotui Solia. Competitive Super Rugby doesn't even have that word in their vocabulary. Says Spunk Vothe. It depends on what teams you talk about. Like, of course, are all 12 teams competitive? No. Unfortunately, there are always going to be those sides that are slightly weaker links. Look at the Drua, though, for instance. Compared to where they were 2 years ago to where they are, or where they finished last year, like, there was huge improvement for them. And, yes, they're struggling here, but I feel like there's a lot of sides in Super Rugby that have the opportunity or have the potential of being able to pull off upsets. As per our country, it certainly is. And Under-20s World Cup, Hamish, who's winning? When is it? Says Mr. Orland. Who's winning? I'd say at the moment, I'll be honest, I feel like our Under-20 NZ side aren't looking the best at the moment. Like, they've got some good players, don't get me wrong, but there's some overseas sides that I think have done a little bit better. That's another double blow of the whistle here from Ben O'Keefe. I think this might be a yellow card for one of the Blues players now. Okay, multiple penalties in a row, says Ben O'Keefe. Early drive. Next one will be a yellow card, says Ben O'Keefe. This is when the Drua need to put their foot down, though, and try and get the Blues playing with the 14 men as well. They have started off the second half with 3 penalties in a row against them. And Drua started last year, Hammy. Says Mr. Orland. Well, they actually started the year prior. They've had 2 seasons under their belt for the Drua. But now, nice run forward. Because Vinaya Bossi set the try-scoring record, and then second season, Osifo Masi just blew it out of the water. Now we are here. Third season, who will do it again? That's close, and the Drua get over the try line. The big forwards push their way over. Who is that? It is going to be the big man at number 5, Rotui Solia. I've got there Ismail Joe from Samoa. He's got Samoan heritage, I believe. We have got there, not sure, but corrective descent. And also, who do you think is going to win this? Hammy, any tip? Nah, none at all. As you guys know, my predictions are terrible, so I try not to say them because or else then you guys bet money on them and then I get abusive messages when the team that I think will win doesn't win. Had plenty of that in the past. And finally, try. Says Blues, Nate, and try. Says Pads ablaze. The crowd cheering big time for that Fijian Drua try. I feel like Fijian Drua, everyone seems to have them as one of their top 3 teams that they enjoy watching. Is your name Hammy? It is not, no. But you told me you were my 103rd subscriber, so surely you know what my name is. Lost my bet. Says Mr. Orland. Kick is good as well, so that makes the score 29 points to 10. Excited for Elimination Chamber. I'll be honest, I slightly forgot about it. Is it this weekend or is it next weekend? I think it's this weekend, isn't it? In Perth. A great start to the second half. Finley Christie actually off the field with the yellow card as well now. He's been sent off for repeat infringements. Kicking at the 10 metres. It's out on the full from the Blues. Tell you what, there's a bit of pressure that's starting to build now. Fijian Drua need to, like I said, make the absolute most of it while the Blues are rattled and while they're scampering a little bit. Perfect opportunity to get something big going. Like I said, Stephen Betafetta will not be happy to boot that ball into touch on the full. Possession currently actually 52% in favour of the Fijian Drua. The time of the opposition 22. Bit more one-sided, almost double for the Blues with 4 minutes and 24 seconds. Anyone can be here, right, Hamish? Says BRB. What do you mean anyone can be here? Like in the chat or what's the go? We have got there, yep, as in fact, or it is today in fact. Says Pads ablaze. Oh, nice. Oh, that was high from the Blues, but I think that it was as he was falling, so Dalton Papali may get away with that one. Wait, so like today, Pads, like today recently or today later on tonight? Now back across. Big run from Osifo Masi. So down by Hoskins Satutu. Once again uses that physicality the Blues have been trying to use throughout the game. I've only watched 56 vids and 45 lives, and you still don't know my name? Blues Nate doesn't want me here, says BRB. I don't think that's necessarily completely true. Oh, Segna's been cleaned out big time. Now breakdown, unfortunately, when you do, Peli Momo going straight through. I changed the subject there because I was about to say, unfortunately, when you do commit so many men round the side, sometimes you do end up getting nailed in the breakdown. Yeah, for the scoreline, says Mr. Orland. Peli Momo almost through. Main card will start at 9 p.m. tonight. I did not know that. That's quite cool. I might actually, maybe I might be able to watch it. I think I'm already doing an all-nighter, so I might as well. Dolan Babali might have some sort of injury here to his left arm. Looks like he doesn't want to move it too much. There's also some sort of injury for the Fijian Drua. And also from Google, ask Siri. Says Blues Nate. He likes Tony. And there says Mr. Orland. Andrew, I need to keep making that comeback, says Simran. Well, while they've got 14 on 14, this is where the Drua could actually be quite dangerous. And then that little bit of time, maybe about 3 minutes, where they have got the one-man advantage as well. And all right, I'm leaving Nate. Says BRB. To be fair to BRB, he is from the cricketing live streams. I believe you were on the West Indies versus Australia stream, if I'm correct, BRB. And like you said a couple of weeks ago, you said you've never watched rugby or you have no knowledge of rugby. So it is nice that you are tuning into these rugby live streams alongside the cricket ones. Hopefully we'll have a few cricket ones in the near future as well. Now, 48 minutes in. One moment, I am about to sneeze. We are good. You don't have to leave, bro. You're doing nothing bad. Says Beds Ablaze. Now Zahn Sullivan, he will once again be able to kick this one towards the touchline. That is a good kick. 48 minutes in. Zahn Sullivan having a very good game. Angus Tarville, Kurt Eklund, and I think, is that just the two? I think for now they're leaving Josh Fusitua out there on the field. They need to be dangerous. They need to bring it hard so they can score no more mistakes. Ricky Riccatrelli now onto the field, and it's already going to be a rolling maul here for the Blues. Now marching very nicely forward. Back to the left-hand side. It's going to be put high from Harry Plummer. Cross kick. Caleb Clark knocks that one on. Oh, referee does well to dodge up a Salome Vota. And I Blues Nate and Pets Blaze. Hope you are well. Now out the back line. This is a chance. He's just knocked it on though out wide for Mary Derialangi. Man's name who we've said very little throughout this matchup so far for the Fijian Drua. But there is 30 minutes left in this contest and they have now got one-man advantage, the Fijian Drua. They need to make the most of it. Full time in the Fiji versus Canada game. It's going to be 22 points to 12. We have good there. I don't know anything about rugby union. All I knew, I grew up a league supporter. My mate introduced me to union. I go Blues ever since. Go on Fiji, better than the Blues cheats, says Porto. So I guess the big question we have to ask, Porto, is which decision do you think the Blues have cheated in? Because they've still scored 5 tries in this game. So, I would think if there was any cheating, which I'm not saying there is, that's Porto's words, I would say all of them. Every try was a cheating play. Okay, good. Now Stephen Betterfetter will be playing halfback. To put this ball in, gone down on this far side for the Blues. Looks like Natave has come off the field for Tuniri, I should say. Queensland Reds is the only team that matters, says Porto. And Rebitu also taken off the field. That is going to be for Summer Vordre. 19 points difference. Reds versus Chiefs in the grand final. I think they're playing 2 weeks' time, aren't they? Might get to see it as a little bit of a prelim. Big push there. Layers now on the field for the Blues as well. I love this all 100%. My team since I was 3. I'm now 23. And it's going to be another penalty to the Blues. Losing his bind and angling. Unfortunately, Masaki Donge has been done for that all day. That is now going to be the 3 times against him. I just need someone to take out McKenzie. Says Borden, who won Fiji or Canada. So the Fijians managed to get themselves the victory in that one. 22 points to 12. So even though they were down, they managed to pull it back. Good kick downfield from Zahn Sullivan. Been finding the corner all day. A little bit of extra pressure. I think that Masaki Donge will be taken back. All right, I'm back with my beard now. Let's talk. Says BRB. I don't know whether or not you heard me before you left BRB, but I did mention about how you were a cricket man who had come over to the rugby, and it was, I guess, maybe not your familiar sport. But we do always say to ask questions so that you guys can learn all about the game as well. And of course, more cricket coming in the near future as well. So be sure, keep an eye out for that. And Ausso Blues won't win many games because they lost Roger the Rocket. Says Porto, I think that they've gotten better since getting rid of Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. Unpopular opinion. And just saying it out in cricket score. Yeah, the Drua, if they can score again soon, they get it a little bit closer. But they're just giving away another neck roll penalty here. Stephen Petafeta now looked into the right-hand side, gets it away to Mark Talia. Wrestled down well. Stephen Petafeta pop pass up to James Lay. In fact, that is Jordan Lay, my apologies. Now Caleb Clark looking for the pick and go around the side of the breakdown, almost for the Drua. Sorry, what time is Vodka, Uber Vodka Mango arriving? Do love me a mango, that is for sure. Another penalty advantage. Now quick hands for Rieko Ioane, and that's gone into touch. They'll go back for another penalty. I think that the Drua, one more penalty in front of their goal line, I think that they're going to be going to the bin again in this match. A well neck roll, that's a Fijian massage technique, and this ref is handing out penalties to the Blues to help them win, says Porto. And how good was that T20 game watching hopeless New Zealand get a hiding, says Porto. I think it will do New Zealand a world of good because they just had the wrong tactics going into that game. When you're chasing 174, you don't have to whack every ball to the boundary, but they kept trying it. Chapman made mistakes, Satner chopping the ball on. Of course, not having Conway didn't help them one bit, New Zealand, but yeah, I think that they'll at least learn from it, I hope, anyway. Why didn't they pick Kane or Ravi? I learned that with Ravindra. It took a little while for me to learn this, but he had a knee injury, so he wasn't available to play. But he was still running drinks, so I don't understand that. But yeah, the reason Rachin Ravindra wasn't in was because of an injury. Because I was the same. I was like, why haven't they picked him if he's one of the most informed players in cricket today? Okay, so it looks like the Blues is winning. If I'm not wrong, yeah. Looks like more than likely, like, don't get me wrong, the Drua are very good at being able to come back. Like, they do score quick tries in quick succession, but just in this game, I think that the Blues have put too much of a advantage over them with 19 points difference. To be honest, I thought Drua would give our front rows good runs. Blues front row is beatable. Says Blues Nate. And Conway hurt his fingers. If he was Australian, they would have brought some concrete out and hardened up, says Porto. Yeah, well, they probably wouldn't have. But yeah. It was interesting, the post-match interview from Mitch Marsh, because he actually said he was too soft to play rugby. That was the exact wording, because he was asked about the rugby. What's taking place? Ben O'Keefe wants another scrum reset here. Massive truck just drove past. Trucks don't drive past our house. Conway should be renamed just Softway. Softway sounds like a brand that you don't want to be the owner or the founder of. You know? Like, Softway, I don't know what, like soft serve ice cream, maybe you could get away with it, but Softway, don't know. Certainly wouldn't want to be selling little blue pills, that's for sure. Now it's going to be the penalty to the Drua at scrum time. I finally got one back. The knee was down for the Blues. And you can see how much it means to the Drua. They are fired up now after that one. And Lowell says, Blues Nate, Softway sounds like a feminine hygiene product. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, Softway. Yeah. And no, that's lies. I need fact checkers on this. No Aussie captain would admit to something like this. That's true. Going to social media to troll him for being so soft, says Porto. Just like no Aussie captain was willing to admit to any scratching of the ball, eh? No, he's apologised for that, though, so he's all right. Just ask Bancroft how that turned out. Still nowhere near the Australian side, is he? Now, Fiji, wow, he came flying in like house on fire. We've got a stoppage here. Thinking it's going to be actually a free kick. Wait, they've got a free kick at line-out time for too many players from the Blues. That is something you don't see too often. Actually, a mismatch in terms of line-out numbers. Something that not many people probably even think about when watching a game of rugby. Don't scratch the ball. We finesse it. Hoocroft. Never heard of him. Let's go the Drua. Come on. Says Joe. Looks like at the moment Frank Lamani just getting a little beverage. It's supposed to help with cramp, and he looks like he's in a lot of discomfort at the moment. Frank Lamani, he's been working hard. They have got Pini Matawalu, who will be coming off the bench later on in this game. Maybe not too far away if the injury is a bit more substantial in terms of the cramp compared to what they were hoping. Fijian Drua fans absolutely loving the action. I don't know how that man's ended up on the wrong side of the fence, but he's kind of like a sheep in terms of you don't know how he got there, but you just leave him there for now. And he's celebrating big time for the Fijian Drua. Jacob Canada. Oh, good job, Canada. I lost 22 points to 12. And look, most of you vote for Druas to win. This is the Blues they're up against. Says Spider Mech. Yeah, it's interesting because the Blues, of course, undefeated throughout preseason. The Drua are unsuccessful throughout preseason, not able to pick up a victory throughout those games. Whangarei certainly turning up the weather for this occasion. The weather here is not looking so flash, unfortunately, but hopefully will be nice a little bit later on. But 23 minutes remaining. We've had quite a stop-start little patch of this game, but the ball has been fed in there. Now, going back across the right-hand side, Pini Matawalu has made his way onto the field, and big run from Celestino Ravatamanda. Oh, Deria Langi just hasn't run the ball enough, and I don't think the loose forward trio have been active enough for the Fijian Drua. That was a late push for no reason from a Blues player. Could be a late tackle penalty. Big run from Asona Silla. He had huge pace there. It doesn't quite make it to the try line, but they're 10 metres out now, the Flying Fijians. Off his feet there from Marcel Renata, and he's won the ball for the Blues. Tell you what, he must have timed it to perfection, you'd have to say, because I thought he was no way, shape or form on his feet at the time of getting that ball back for the Blues. Second feels more, I like it as more errors. Yeah, we had a few more scrums and a few more stoppages in terms of injuries and whatnot, but with the game being played at this pace, there are always going to be a few times we see little mistakes. Well, it's set to come out at 3. He was terrible. It was Gary Steed's idea, but that was due to Conway being injured. They had to make that change, but that kick has gone into touch from the Blues. Not a huge amount of distance on it for Zahn Sullivan, who almost got outpaced by Asoana Silla. Celestino Ravatamanda. Good initial run, and then nice bit of shifting of the ball from Apisalumi Ota. Got it away. Tuna Silla. Yeah, he thought he was gone. Big shot, Rico Ioane sits down the man across from him. Which I believe was Samuel Vordre. He's not an easy man to sit down. Loose ball again, though, from the Fijians. Does mean that the Blues have taken it back. Harry Plummer goes across to Rico Ioane, now out to Mark Talia. I'll be honest, Talia's been extremely quiet throughout this game. Great pickup from Harry Plummer. And now the space is there. Sam Knock on the outside. Tries to go for the corner. Look for the offload. They've somehow kicked this ball in the field of play. Mark Talia slips out of one. It isn't able to slip out of the second. Back across to the left-hand side. Knock on from Rico Ioane. Disappointed, but that was a rough pass. Wasn't quite in the bread basket where he would have liked the Fijian Drua to win this game. Would need 3 converted tries in the last 20 minutes of this fixture. It is, I want to say it's doable, but maybe not in this game. I think that the Fijian Drua are a side that have shown really, really successful patches. That was a long sentence, wasn't it? A moment, we'll go like this. "22 meters out. Just checking as well. Okay. I was just having a look at the local cricket update, the one that we went to watch just a little bit ago, me and George. And Fijian Drua doing well, playing against the TMO and the rest as well. So, Porto, that'll be another penalty this time for the Blues, sweeping the ball back. Penalty against the Fijian Drua. Hands in the ruck. I think that is against... Is that Tanakai Vata? Tried to get in there. No, that's just straight in off the feet. Deri Alangi. Hasn't been his day. Satutu certainly has been the better 8 of the 2 on the field. And below him, which I'm a bit late. A score from both sides, says Mr. Billy. So, for the Drua, we saw the 1 try being scored. That being... Rotui Solia, that is who it was. Then for the Blues, they have scored 5 tries. We have seen 1 from Dalton Papali, 2 from Oscar Satutu, and then Caleb Clark as well as Zan Sullivan. Okay, bye, gotta go to sleep. I have work tomorrow, so see you later, mate. So you do get a good sleep. What is the next live stream? It will be at 3 or so a.m. tonight, and that will be the matchup between Ireland and Wales. And the ref and the TMO have been incredible for the Blues. Says Porto. Now rolling ball here for the Blues once more. 18 minutes remaining on the clock. Sam Knock passing across to Harry Plummer. Now Perafeta, quick hands there. Out to Mark Delia. One more for Sullivan. And he finishes it in the corner again. He's just got acceleration that gets him around the opposition. And Wales would get slaughtered by 14-28. And also we got there 53, says Mr. Orlin, and Kakite BRB5. Or BRBV, I should say there. But Zan Sullivan, 2 tries for his Super Rugby season opener. Same with Oscar Satutu. It's a chase of the hat trick for those 2 individuals, but getting it out wide, that definitely does secure the win for the Blues. It's just more of a question of, can they get another? Can Perafeta? This kick over right in the corner. Sullivan absolutely loving it. Caleb Clark, big smile on his face as well. Both of those men being able to get themselves tried. Both going for All Blacks positions. Stephen Perafeta. Not the time. Ireland versus Wales. And is Ronnie Sale still part of the Drua team? I think so. Sledgehammer, or has he gone over? He might have gone to France. I have a quick look. That one is missed from Stephen Perafeta. Ronnie Sale. Where is he at the moment? He is currently... Yeah, he's still with the Fijian... Wait, is he? Yeah, he's still at the Fijian Drua. He's only had 3 appearances, though. I'd like to see that number go up a little bit more, or else he maybe could do more damage being overseas. Kicked off short. Nicely taken by the Blues. Should mention once again another unsuccessful conversion. No, in fact, that one that I believe... No, they did miss that one. My apologies. Now Sam Knock going into the pocket to Zan Sullivan. The kick long and high. And Ireland have caught up. I come down here and take another series, and I would agree. Pyramus 2 now. Lucky Blues well ahead. Says Spider Mick. Back across again to this left-hand side. Big fend from Osefo Masi. That was the cleanest strip I think we've seen in this season so far for Mark Delia. Close to the touchline. The ball is between the Fijian Drua players' legs. So I believe it will be the Blues line out now. Oyoga there, come on Fiji, or come to Fiji, please do it. I've always wanted to go to Fiji. I don't know whether or not it is in the near future type arrangement for myself, but perhaps at some stage in the future we could look at the possibility of going to Fiji. We will go like this. And like that as well. There we go. Nice solid hit there. And predictions for the Highlanders versus Moana tonight. I think the Highlanders should take it, but Moana Pacifica might be a little bit stronger than some people do anticipate. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see how they end up going. But, yeah, I think they've got a decent enough chance overall. And the Blues play Highlanders next week, next fortnight, Blues and the Hurricanes. Yeah, Blues have got some good New Zealand derbies that will be taking place in the near future. And also who? England, Scotland, France, all the ABs. So here's Mr. Orland. Should mention anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. The second half, we're in that scenario of, it's more of the case of waiting to find out how high the score will go for the Blues. They are currently sitting with a bonus point. The points differential is plus 24. The best of the round is plus 30. That being of the Hurricanes. So if the Blues get themselves another converted try, they will be in the lead. I think people forget how good Fiji is, says Umbrella Company. And I think people also forget that Fiji have got 3 debutants in this Drua backline. So there's always going to be some rough patches near the start because they are still getting to know how these guys do play together. They've still got talent for days. And want the Landers do well this season, featuring Tava Nawai. Says Blues Nate, and I remember with a MT try for the Blues, he has not known Mark Delia. He's had, I think he got an assist, but that might be the absolute most that he's had. Another penalty advantage in favour of the Blues now, going out the back line, passed out wide to Zahn Sullivan. Now Mark Delia. Any update on the Vancouver Sevens? So the Fijians won their game. Samoa got brutally beaten by the French. USA beat Australia. And then, I think more recently, I'll just get you the most recent one there. Looks like Ben O'Keefe is running over to check something here. Well, no, he's going back to the penalty mark. And Spain are currently being beaten by Argentina at halftime, 19-0. And England just lost a wicket. Fun fact. But they are still batting. Oh no, they just got bowled out. That was their last wicket. 353 the English were bowled out for. Stephen Petafeta. The ball into touch. It sounds like there are a few more changes coming now for the Blues. I guess that's the Sparrow Landers. Or Blues now up the Landers. There's some run there. Just talking about Osefa Masi. And it looks like AJ Lamb actually going to make his way onto the field for Rico Ioane. Ioane, he's had an alright game. I wouldn't call it the best thing we've ever seen from him. But it's gone alright. Looks like Kimi Valentini now is onto the field for the Fijian Drua. That will replace Osefa Masi, who was in the midfield. Like I mentioned, 24 points the difference between these two sides. Ricky Riccatelli now to throw this ball in. How long is this live? Currently 1 hour 43 is what we are sitting on. Now, Taveta Ikanaveri charging forward. He actually started the match extremely well. He's been a bit more quiet recently. Where's Rico Brohemi? He's got a, is it jaw injury or knee injury? I think it's one of those two. For Akira Ioane, so he's out for a few more weeks. Should be back by about early to mid-season. Now out wide, nice get pass on Apa Salumi Vota. Bit of space opening up, big sell and a dummy from Momo, who passed it on the inside, but has gone straight to Adrian Cho, who is not on his team, fun fact, so it is a turnover now for the Blues. Now AJ Lamb passes on the outside to Clark. Trying to avoid that touchline. He's done so very well and he's been driven into the turf. One under him, bro. Says Blues, Nate. Now back across Marcel Renata. Now Derry goes to Mark Talia. Oh, and he's dropped it again there, Talia. Making the mistake. The turf is getting ripped up at Whangarei currently. But 10 minutes remain. Drua, they need to do a lot of work to stop the Blues from getting themselves the bonus point. The Blues need to convert a try to put themselves in the position where They will be top of the table. It's kicked up high there from Matawalu, and it's going back. Has the ref been good? Slash fierce, says Mr. Billy. I don't want to criticise the refereeing, but it's been a bit harsher on one team than the other, I would say. That's all I'm going to say. Just a little bit. Julian Savio or Artie Savio, pick one. I'll pick Artie every day of the week. Even though Julian Savio, of course, going to be playing for Moana Pacifica this year, I hope that he does very well. Kenny Naholo, the replacement for him at the Hurricanes. I'm a Fijian Drua fan. I made a bet, says Rish there. Yeah, it's a great run from Apele Momo. A bit of space opening up, but Adrian Choate was ready for that turnover. Did end up doing just that. We look like this. And like that as well. There we go. Now Valentini getting his first touch. A bit of fiddling with it on the ground, I would say, from Dalton Papali. Clark off his feet. Here I can tell he rushed defence there, trying to shut down this Fijian Drua backline. Again, big contact being made. 27-degree heat they are still playing in roughly, so it's going to be fatiguing the longer that they stay out there on the field. Now pass back across from Pini Matawala. Good step from Api Salumi Vote. He's actually started coming into his own in the second half. You can see a huge amount of Osefo Masi, but we're seeing a lot more of Ota now. Matawalu, Mato. Yep, that's going to be the penalty against Adrian Choate. Oh, big push there. Adrian Choate trying to fire up the Fijian Drua, who are frustrated at the moment. Good evening, Amish, says Manus. I think Adrian Choate was trying to say he's not allowed to push me, but he's also not allowed to do what Adrian Choate did in the breakdown. Not everyone has the same amount of talent, says Umbrella Company. That is true. In anything in life, there's always going to be someone who's slightly better at something or slightly worse at something than the person you compare them to. Now line out throw here. And it's gone over the top. Nicely taken. Tawalu gets it away to the side now to Nyeri. Ooh, loose ball. Armstrong, Ravula. Keeping it alive now. Celestino Ravatamanda. Oh, what's your next live commentary? It will be the match between France. Oh, sorry, not France. Ireland and Wales. So for the Six Nations. Now again, the breakdown coming slowly for Matawalu and the Fijian Drua. 6.5 minutes remain though. Riccatelli back to his feet. Not able to get that turnover. Binoki scratches his nose rather than blows the whistle. Vota now spinning. That's going to be knocked down by Sullivan. No, they've called it as a knock on against the Fijian Drua. Oh, they're saying just frustration on the face of the Fijian Drua. I don't think they have the same genes, says Umbrella Company. They do, but there's always like the more talented sibling in certain regards. Like someone might be quicker, someone might be stronger, someone might be more intellectually intelligent. There you go. Rather than just saying intelligent, I've decided to put intellectually in front of it to make it sound fancier. But they both mean the same thing pretty much. And the best Blues, says Spider-Mick. Looks like they're going to try something here with Forbes. What is going on here? This seems like an interesting play for the Blues. Dalton Papali has been taken off. I think that is Forbes who has been put onto the field. The team to beat 2024, the Blues, says Spider-Mick. And Blues need our score one converted try to help my Super Brew, says Pants of Blaze, but that one has gone down the front row once more. As you use up valuable seconds on the clock for the draw. Valuable seconds as well in some regards for the Blues if they are chasing that first place position. Okay, just talking them through the scrum. Next game, of course, Highlanders versus Moana Pacifica. That is just around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. If you are new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. The next live stream that we have got, like I mentioned, is the Six Nations, followed by the Sevens tomorrow that we will be covering on the channel. Where's Bowden Barrett? He is playing in Japan currently. Old Bowden, so he will not be available for the Blues, and I believe not for the All Blacks either. Ball is fed in. It's a big shove from the Blues. South Canterbury is the new Canterbury. Says Blues Nate. Dude, I'm glad all the non-rugby fans left. Says Umbrella Company. I mean, but in a way, I know that, yes, you might not like them talking about other things, right? But they're the fans that, in the long run, you got to try and convert, if that makes sense. Like, if you scare them away, then rugby, unfortunately, will become more and more condensed in terms of the supporters. Rugby World Cup, we saw the perfect opportunity for new people who weren't a fan of rugby to get an opportunity to see what the game was like. It was my sister and her boyfriend just leaving the house. I think, where are they going? They're going somewhere without me. That's sad. But yeah, that's like the perfect time to convert people into watching rugby, because eventually, if they spend any money on the game whatsoever, they're helping the game grow. And that's what you need. You don't want a sport that's going to slowly die out because people are stopping watching. Now, nice wide cutout pass for the Fijian Drua. Big shot from Anton Segna. He's had a good game. Samu Vorre. It's like the ball is available for the Drua. Pini Matawalu gets it back across. Big run from, I believe it was Dolakoto. Back across. Armstrong, Ravula. The rush defense of the Blues. It's been a little bit slower in the second half, but it is still extremely effective. Kick long. Nicely taken by Caleb Clark. Zan Sullivan puts it high and puts it into touch on the full. I thought he was outside of the 22. I feel like, was that not taken back? He was inside the 22. Might need to see a replay of that one. Those who know jack about rugby, just zip. Let me do the talk. Thank you. And also no Wi-Fi again, says the Lol King. It is now going to be the Fijian Drua line out. Only 2.5 minutes remaining. Nicely slapped back. They probably, I don't want a third wheel. Says some, although I think they're going to see the fam. I think there's going to be multiple family that I'm missing out on. Currently on the halfway line. Oh, big shot from Sam Derry to the back of the neck. Matawalu. It's high into the 22. I think the mark will be. Oh, Perafeta would have called the mark, but he wasn't able to take it cleanly, knocking the ball on. And now the chance is there again for the Blues. Oh, sorry, for the Fijian Drua. They could score here and cut down on this differential. Now, the way that it currently sits, the Blues, with the bonus point, they will be sitting in third. If the Fijian Drua can score a try, that changes nothing whatsoever. But they'll still be sitting third with a slightly less substantial points differential. So that is the big difference that is around the corner. 2 minutes remaining now. The Fijian Drua, they need to get this out wide to Samu Vordre, because if they do, he should score. I'm going to guess. We have got there who's a Drua playing next week. The next week for the Drua, they have got the game up against Moana Pacific. It is grabbing in behind. It hits the post, though. How unlucky can you be for the Fijian Drua? That's picked up by the Blues. That was close. Come on, Drua, make the scoreboard look a little better. They had the chance, but unfortunately, like I said, hits the post, bounces out awkwardly straight to Mark Dallaire. I want no Wi-Fi again, says the logging. That sounds like a question you should be asking your Wi-Fi provider rather than myself. That one is going to be going high. It's gone into touch for Sullivan, but one last chance for the Drua now with only the minute remaining on the clock here. But it was a great grabber in behind. Well read and well picked up by Valentini to know that it was going in behind, but just hits the post and bounces out awkwardly. Now 35 seconds remaining. Going to be thrown in, stolen by the Blues. picked up by Forbes there. I love you guys. There's Spider-Mick. Now 23 seconds remaining. Do the Blues look for one more try here? If they are inside of their own 22, they were told to not use their hands. There's the siren now. Knocked back into the pocket. It is booted into touch from Stephen Petafeta, and that will be the end of the contest, ladies and gentlemen. The Blues getting themselves to win 34 points to 10. This is the lowest amount of points the Blues have scored throughout their preseason and the regular season now. And the Drua, unfortunately, that is the lowest amount of points that they have been able to score as well. So there's a lot that we can learn from this game. The Blues look strong during their first half, not quite scoring as freely in the second. The Drua getting their one try back. It just wasn't quite enough. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. Like I mentioned, the next live stream will be the one of the Six Nations that has taken place in the middle of the night here in New Zealand. We will be covering that one on the channel. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I will see you all for the next one.